It's that motherfucking time of the week. Brand new episode of the Klitschko Podcast. Happy Friday to all of you. Rolling into the weekend when this releases. Got your boy here, Eduardo. I got my co-host here, the White Rhino, aka Brett. How are you doing today, brother?
Doing well.
Cocking back. Are you getting ready? Are you getting prepared for Dub 3? Shit, yeah, man.
You know, it was. I knew that the odds of something like this happening was when I mentioned that, but a lot of it was, you know, it was just I was hoping it wouldn't happen, and here we are, and it can certainly escalate. How are you?
I'm doing good, brother. I'm doing good. It's not too bad. I mean, it is. I mean, today is Saturday, but when this releases Friday. But today is pretty good. Not too bad. It's so just obviously today we're referring to, obviously everybody knows by now, the events that are taking and unfolding in Ukraine, and it's been one of those weeks where, like, I mean, it's everywhere, social media, just talking about it amongst like friends that we have, mutual friends, and it's just it's a talk of the hour, really. And it's insane to know that all eyes are kind of, on that situation right now. And I think it's one of those things too, where I think it's only right to talk about everything that's kind of going on the podcast. And we really don't like, I mean, me personally, I don't really like diving into topics in regards to politics and all that. But I feel like this is one of those things where it could potentially affect us if things go the way they're going. It could potentially affect us here down the road. But also, I bet you there's a lot of people out there that are probably wondering, why is this all happening? Why is Putin doing what he's doing to Ukraine? And I mean, we could definitely try to answer that to the best of our capabilities. And I got my walking Google right here, so he knows more than that. So I'm gonna play from the perspective of me, like, not knowing completely what's going on, but my boy can fill us in as much as we can, because obviously, we do our best here on the Klitschko Podcast to kind of fill you in on the latest and greatest, whether it's from Bigfoot, UFOs, you name it. I mean, all well-rounded, right?
Yes.
But with this, I mean, it's kind of not our, I guess, forte, but we'll try to do our best to kind of get a summary on what's going down, why, and just kind of what could happen in the future. But overall, man, I mean, to sum all that up, I'm doing all right. Not too bad. I mean, yeah, I'm just chilling here, man.
Okay,
just chilling.
So I'm gonna dive into the whole Ukraine, Russia,
let's do it.
U.S. saga, right? But I'm definitely gonna put a tip-touch spin on this.
Oh,
okay?
Yeah. Oh, dude. Oh, we have to dip it in that fucking sauce, dude. Like it's a fucking wild wing.
Yeah.
No.
So yeah, definitely. So I decided to tell the story about how this all came about, but decided to make it as if it were you and I. Right. So I'm going to represent Joe Biden. I'm going to be Joe Biden in this story.
All right.
JB. And everybody knows I hate the guy. I can't stand him. He's run not only our country into the ground, but he's going to cost this man his life. And so this man behind us, we're going to call him her, but it's going to be a girl in our story. Right. Because we're going to call him Lynette. You're gonna be Russia. You're gonna be Putin, and so let's just lay it out so that everybody understands, right? And the UN, that's gonna be the police, right? So I'm Joe Biden. I'm America, and you, Russia, used to have this big neighborhood, right? You're so Eddie, so Brett, he's always been the big dog on the block, right? And on the face in front of the world, I'm telling everybody how good I am, how cool I am, but meanwhile, I'm like, getting a lot of people to do my bidding for me, right? So Eddie has this podcast. I'm running my own podcast in my own neighborhood, and then Eddie, he's running his podcast in his neighborhood, and so, but he's like, he knows from behind the scenes that, man, Brett's act ain't as clean as it is, as it's supposed to be, right? As he's telling everybody it is. So he's starting to, like, he had a deal with Lynette. Lynette was part of his neighborhood, right? But then back in the day, we sort of like, we're like, hey, yo, Lynette is going to be her own neighborhood, right? So we've been using Lynette. I've been going to Lynette like, hey, listen, I need some meth cooked for me.
I thought you were mentioning like you were piping down Lynette. That's what for some reason that came to
Well,
mind.
it was the neighborhood whore too.
Okay,
And Lynette just
okay.
wanted freedom,
Okay.
right? Lynette just wanted freedom. She just wanted to be her own little neighborhood. She wanted her own little jurisdiction. But Eddie and Brett are fighting over Lynette. And so, I'm going in and I'm like, yo, we're gonna hire your drug dealers, your cooks, your meth cooks, right? And 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 Eddie is like, dude, this is my neighborhood. You are not going to cook meth in my neighborhood, right? And by the meth, I mean what I'm gonna go into the fringe, the conspiracy theories that some of these airports that got bombed, they are also saying were biological labs funded by America. Okay. And so Russia certainly has a stake. They're saying, listen, we saw what you guys did in Wuhan. We saw that the lab that you guys were funding in Wuhan sort of got out of control. You guys aren't responsible. You guys aren't capable enough. We're bombing it. Right. So that's what happened in Ukraine. There's been a lot of tension. So Brett and Eddie are no longer enemies. So now Eddie has friends. He made friends with Winnie the Pooh. And well, but he can't trust Winnie the Pooh, right? Winnie the Pooh being China, which, by the way, that's funny that post has gotten attention.
Oh yeah, it's so one thing I definitely brought up to my co-host here is that today we were getting a lot of activity. If you haven't followed us on Instagram, go do so at the Tip Picture Podcast. You'll see a post that was in our previous post talking about how they banned Winnie the Pooh in China because they were referencing Jinping. Is that his name? Jinping? Is that his name?
Xi Jinping.
Xi Jinping. They were pretty much comparing him to Winnie the Pooh. So they pretty much said, we ain't having that shit anymore over here in China. And my boy here made a post about that, say it's crazy that they just banned Winnie the Pooh because of that, putting, referencing the what is it, I guess you could say their leader,
the character
the character, so, or the leader to the character. So but today we've been having a lot of activity. A bunch of people were just liking this post and we're like, what the fuck is going on?
Don't know where it came from.
It's just random. So the randomest thing. And usually you would think it was probably because of your most recent post that we put up on the gram, but no, it was a previous post. I was just getting a bunch of likes. So I don't know what's going on, but for me, my conspiratorial side was like, holy shit, dude, they're trying to attack us, they're gonna ban us, and that's it. That's done for the podcast.
It's the beginning. It's the beginning,
right? So no, but that's what my boy's referencing to, just to add my kind of 2 cents from that. But
yeah, so now Eddie's friends with Winnie the Pooh, and so Winnie is like, hey, listen, I don't want to get between you and Brett, but secretly, Eddie, I'm on your side, right? And me, I've got the UN, I've got the police, right? I've got them in my pocket. And so I'm like telling Lynette, like, hey, listen. So now Eddie wants to go into Lynette's neighborhood, shake some, rattle some heads, and it's just a single wide trailer park. It's just a trailer park, basically, right? And so now all of a sudden I'm like, oh snap, I've done a lot of money laundering in this neighborhood. I've had a lot of labs created in this neighborhood. So now, and not only that, but let's go back to 1994 when we had a president, Bill Clinton, who made a big peace treaty and told Ukraine, if you get rid of your nukes, we will protect you from any Russian invasion that ever happens. We will protect you with all of America's might, right? So now I'm telling Lynette, Ukraine, I'm not touching you. Listen, best I can do is I can give you a ride out, right? I've got an airplane waiting. You can escape. We're going to let everybody die because that's the American way, right? We'll let you escape, but we're going to let all your people die. Sorry, that's the best we can do.
That's fucking lousy
Far cry from what Bill Clinton promised in 1994. So this is what countries around the world have grown to know. I'll tell you something more recent with the Philippines, and then we'll go into that in a little bit.
All right.
But, and really, it sucks that we have to talk about all this. It does. But it's just, we are on the cusp of World War III. And I think the world just needs to know that America is not your friend. America has stabbed so many people in the back. And I'm sorry, but Joe Biden cannot be trusted. America cannot be trusted. And I'm speaking as an American. And it sucks that I have to say this, but this is one thing. This is why I'm so surprised that we have so many people that cross the borders thinking, it reminds me of that song, the Dog Pound song,
All right, let's hear
New
it.
York, New York.
New
You know?
York, New York, the city of dreams. Something ain't on what
Everything
it
in
seems.
New York ain't always what it
It
seems.
seems,
You
yeah.
might get fooled if you come from out of town, but I'm down by law. From the
Oh,
dog pound to
Dude, true. Hey, that is a good reference.
right.
Yeah.
That is so
Mhm.
everybody thinks they can come to the mystery city Babylon, right? And think that, oh man, these guys they've got a good PR team, right? We've got a good PR team. But it's decaying, right? I mean, the city is falling all apart. We're basically every day is a civil war. We don't know if it's a race war. We don't know if it's our manufacturing jobs have left. We don't know what's going on. We can't trust our media. So the people, the heart is in the people. Our politicians have sold us out. And we've seen it with this latest coronavirus event where the people themselves have said, stop playing games with us. You're killing our children by closing schools, right? But the ultimate betrayal is this man behind me. This man, President Zelensky, Volodymyr Zelensky. Hey, everybody's saying he's corrupt. Everybody's saying but listen, he wanted to be a part of NATO. And he was being promised by Joe Biden, by the American elites, that, hey, if you do our dirty work, you launder our money for us, you do all this shady shit, you make us look good, and you do the dirty work, we'll let you in, right? And it was all empty promises. They never had any intention whatsoever to let Ukraine in NATO. And that was pissing Russia off, because Russia knew that they had problems with Ukraine. They did not want Ukraine in NATO, and Ukraine knew that, and Russia knew, Putin knew that Ukraine was doing a lot of America's dirty work.
Yeah,
so that's where we're at. So Ukraine, I think Zelensky has realized now it's too late, but he realizes he's been sold out, and so he said, you know what? I'm not going to go out a coward. I'm going to go out fighting, and I want every fighting aged male to stay behind and protect Ukraine. And it's just been absolutely tragic.
Yeah,
But
it's more wild though, because we live in an age where everything's being pretty much just I would say shown on social media. And some of the stuff that I've seen myself, it's sad to see, man, because you have a lot of innocent people that are tied in with this, that don't want no part of this. Obviously they want to be at peace. They want to live their lives, all that stuff. They got families and all that stuff, loved ones. And, you see all the, the fighter jets rolling through, just launching their missiles, and they're catching all this stuff on their cell phones. And it's like, you kind of look back at it, it's like, that would never happen here. Like, a lot of people probably have that idea, this could never happen in the US, dude. I mean, but you have to really realize these people probably thought the same thing at one point, where, we're good right now, this and that. But little did you know, I mean, it happened in a matter of weeks leading up to this. And it's very tragic to see that, especially because, like I said, now everything's on social media. You find ways where people putting up their what they're seeing live right now, and putting it up there. And it's just like, it's so insane. And also you see Zelensky too, like on the forefront, like with his soldiers, saying that he's going to go out. If he has to go out dying for his country, he's going to do so. And it's like, fuck, man. And also another thing I do want to add, I follow boxing a little bit. I'm a casual boxing fan. The Klitschko brothers, there were two. They were heavyweight champions. One of them, I don't say it's both of them, but one of them, he's on the forefront too. He's geared up with his gun, his uniform
I think it's
on.
both, dude.
I think it's also it's both. Yeah, dude. And they're willing to die for the country. I'm like, damn, bro. So much respect. But it's like, I do hope they, everything will pan out, and just no more innocent lives are going to be put at stake for this. But it's sad. It's an unfortunate, man. And it's so cliche for me to say, like, that's, for me, when this type of stuff happens, it's like, it's so cliche for me to say, you know, my prayers go out to Ukraine and all that. It's like, yeah, you know, we can do that, sure, you know. And I would say, yeah, you know, I pray that everybody that's there, you know, they make it out safe, they make it back to their loved ones, their kids, their husbands, their wives, everything, all that. But it's like, man, what can we really do at this point for us? Like us, just you and me, you know what I'm saying? It's like we can only hope that this thing doesn't really go the extra mile, and it's like, you know, it's donezo. They freaking just obliterate everything that's there. But it's definitely sad, dude. It's definitely sad seeing it from a distance within, especially adding the fact that, you know, like you were saying, America said that they were going to protect these people in this type of situation, and like you were telling me, you know, off the air when we were just, you know, kind of messaging about this whole situation going down. It's like, damn, we're literally watching them get beat up right in front of them when we told them, hey, yeah, we'll back you up if they jump you, or we'll back you up. But it's like, more, you're letting them fucking getting stomped out while we're watching.
Right.
That's kind of how, like, at simplest terms, that's kind of what's happening right now. We're literally watching a homeboy you promised, or homegirl or whatever,
Yeah.
that you were going to back up. But no, little did you know, they're getting fucking stomped out. We're just kind of like,
Yeah, we're literally watching him get murdered, and then we're just sitting on the sidelines like, and what our, you know, we promised our friend that we'd jump in. What he doesn't realize is that the guy that's murdering him, we have a business deal as well. Like, hey, no, hey, listen, if you got to murder him, that's cool. I'll just sit on the sideline. I know that I said that I'd defend him and I'd jump in, but you also know that I'm not.
Yeah.
I think that America has lost its way, and it's lost its way. I want to say officially. I don't know when. I think it was. I think it lost its way before we were born, because everything that we've seen America do since we were alive, our jobs have moved overseas. And promises have been broken to so many countries. And what I wanted to do before I finish this, my wife, I was talking to her about, you know, Zelensky, and about how he's probably going to die. And it was he was relying on Joe Biden. He was relying on the American protection, and that was promised to him, but then pulled out from under the rug. And so she said, you know, Obama had made a similar promise to the Philippines, and said, you know, hey, go fight China, for us. And Rodrigo Duterte, you know, kind of laughed and said, I don't think so. I've seen your history. You've promised a lot of countries you'll fight for them, and you don't. So we are actually going to make peace with China. And it looks like that was something, a lot of wisdom in Rodrigo Duterte's decision to not take the bait, not kiss the ring of America, because Philippines is thriving. They have some peace right now with China, and America's weakened. I think that I've said it so many times on the podcast that these are the last glory days of America that we have left. I think that we're over the hill now. Now we're going to see what this new America is going to look like for a lot of people. And I think that this Afghanistan played a huge role. Our withdrawal of Afghanistan, our enemies saw that. Our enemies saw that we just have no spirit left in us, you know, and it just sucks because they're trying to play the same game. We'll protect you. We'll be your hero. And when that time comes, we're not there.
And it's almost like you were saying, right? This is coming from us. Obviously, we live in this country. And you also think about the fact, like, you have probably a lot of people in Russia that probably are not they're not backing up what Putin's doing. They're like, why are we?
17,000 got arrested.
If he's saying that Ukrainians are their people, but they're the civilians that are saying, if you're saying there are people, why are we murdering these people to do what it is that you want to do? It makes no sense at all. And, you know, coming from us, it's like, I mean, I just don't want anybody would think. I mean, this is like, obviously, wherever this reaches, whoever, if you're, like I said, I could have sworn when we look at our statistic or analytics on, you know, where we see who listens to us, I swear we had a couple of people from Russia listening. And if you're listening still, we are not your enemy. That's up to the people that we put in office that we're trying to do the right thing. And lo and behold, this is what happened. And it fucking sucks though, because
right.
It's almost like you have people representing us, but it's like they're putting up front like this, like you're saying, right? Like, you know, they're making these promises, but they don't come through. And ultimately, this is kind of what happens, and it
This
fucking
is
sucks, dude.
this is exactly why podcast exists, because we can't trust the mainstream media. We cannot trust that what we turn on to our TV, that we can believe it. Is this propaganda? Um, a lot of it is. A lot of it is. We cannot trust, because the State Department is giving orders to the mainstream media, and the mainstream media, you know, the media's role in the beginning was to look at the government with in skepticism. You
Yeah.
know, like, listen, we know the natural urge for people in power is to keep power and to abuse power, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so the media's role, the reason for the First Amendment in the first place, was to put some checks on the government. You don't see that today in the media. The media is bending over backwards to appease the government, and it's horrifying. It's
Yeah.
horrifying. So that's what gave birth to these podcasts, and then also it's it's what given the dishonesty of the government is what gave birth to cryptocurrency. So now,
Yeah.
as you can see behind me, there was a tweet from the this is an Ukrainian official tweet, which I'm surprised that Jack Dorsey and Twitter haven't taken it down, um, because they just don't stand for freedom whatsoever. But they this is Ukraine is accepting Bitcoin and Ethereum and Tether USDT,
Mm.
um, and go to their official site, and if you have Bitcoin, you have Ethereum, you have Tether, those are the addresses right there. And what's his name? Vitalik Buterin, the co-founder of Ethereum, one of the co-founders, he deleted his tweet, but he was telling everybody at first, don't do it, don't do it. It looks like it's a scam. And then finally he realized it's not a scam. This is going right to Ukraine. So if you want to help Ukraine and you have your Coinbase app open, um, Bitcoin is always the easiest, but if you have Ethereum or Tether, Tether's good because it's a stable coin. It's dollar for dollar, but I usually just go with Bitcoin. So that's the address behind me. But go to, you know, in order to send it properly, copy that address from the official Twitter page, and then submit it,
Dope.
send that money. But because America, you know, they've offered way too little, too little, too late. They are now offering weapons. I think Germany's now offering
And sanctions too, right?
weapons.
They were saying they were doing some sanctions and stuff like that.
You know what? Okay, what's this going to do? Someone has already broken into your house. They plan to kill everybody. What what is it going to do when the police tell the burglar and the rapist and the murderer, hey, we're going to cut off your bank account?
Okay, I see what you're
It's not
saying.
going to stop him,
Mm-hmm.
right? And chances are Russia, they know the game. You know, that was the threat that Canada, Trudeau was doing with the truckers. You know, it was just a protest, and then he went right for the bank accounts and froze their bank accounts. Like, you
Okay.
know, listen, people are still, I mean, yeah, that's sort of a human rights violation what Trudeau did to those people that were assembling freely. I mean, that's supposed to be protected protest. It's we are living in a fucking crazy time.
Yeah.
It's a crazy time right now. So we have to take this upon ourselves. I am one of those people that believes with all my heart that we can overthrow these tyrants that are currently in office, and one way or another. And it doesn't have to be violent. We can weaken their systems by going through Bitcoin, going
Yeah.
through crypto, not using the mainstream platforms like Facebook and like Twitter unless you need to, but and keep everything. Use your Signal app that's end-to-end encryption. Communicate that way, and your sources. Do not rely on these mainstream sources. They will throw you a bone. They'll make it look like it's the truth, but these guys are paid. They're part of the game. You just cannot trust them. That's why you just have to find these off sources. And you know, you also have to be careful with that because a lot of people, CIA knows this. They can throw in their own propaganda and make it look um, real too. Putin's KGB. I don't know if KGB is still a thing, but his form of secret service. They've got all sorts of online trolls. They can trick you into thinking some things too. So you got to use some discernment as well.
Yeah, that's the big thing too. Cyber warfare. They're saying that's really going to be. They're going to be super heavy on that, especially with manipulating certain things, or just them having a good scope and kind of breaking us from the inside. And I think I've heard that before a lot of times. How like they try to start the beef within the inside within the United States to weaken us. And I think you made a good point earlier, saying that us as a country, we're not even doing good within with all this, we could say police brutality, race, still having a bunch of issues with race and all that, and just I mean. It's how do they say it? It's always that one state with or the one statement where they say break them from within side and then go for them on the out. So I mean, dude, I mean, it's kind of one of those things where I can kind of see that happening, and I hope it doesn't lead to anything bigger. I mean, that's just the scariest thought for me to think, like, what if this shit does lead to World War III, and I mean, at that point, it's like it's one of those things where, damn, in our lifetimes, we're gonna have to go through something like that. Because I mean, think about World War I, World War II, and all that, the Cold War. I mean, dude, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy. At this point, anything can happen at this point. Yeah. So it's insane, man.
One thing that I told my wife is, if Russia ever did feel like they wanted to invade the country, and China wanted to, they could easily team up.
Oh yeah.
Alaska is only 50 miles from Russia, and they could easily, if they can get Alaska, they can come up north. But we're in the Seattle area. Seattle would be one of the first targets, I believe, for Russia to strike. And Putin has already made it clear that he will use nukes, and he alluded to it, I should say. He reminded the world community, I have nukes, and he's one of those people that believes he can bring the greatness back to the former USSR days. I think that he feels that he has a role to play. But also, I've seen other perspectives where they said that Russia is in the spot where they're seeing the corruption of the West. They're seeing the the invasion of country after country that America has been doing, and leaving behind so many empty countries, killing so many people, that he is just finally had enough of it. And he's like, listen, you're not going to do this anymore in our areas. And, so, I know that America has a bad role. I think that's why the people people all over the world have to take this upon ourselves. And really, I think all of us have to overthrow somehow our governments that are currently in place, because they're all lying to us, every single one of them.
And I think if we're looking for a certain moment for everybody to be together and in unity, I think this would be the perfect time to do that, bro. Because at this point, when shit hits the fan, at this point, we got to look at each other as actual, brothers and sisters at this point, because, we're all going to be on the same boat into that at the end of the day.
Yeah, I just want to clarify, when I say overthrow the government, just so the FBI doesn't knock on my door. I'm not talking about a violent overthrow. I'm talking about us collectively coming together and saying, we've got to fix this system. And there does need to be a culling of the current people in power, your Nancy Pelosi's, even Donald Trump, for whatever he was saying, right there, I said, there was Donald Trump. I remember reading that story when the BLM riots were in, I call them riots. I didn't call them protests, because a riot, whole cities were on fire. So those were definitely riots.
Yeah.
So let's not, mince words. But anyway, so Trump, when the BLM riots were in DC, there was the story that he went to the bunker, and he said, "Oh, yeah, I was just there to check it out. I just wanted to inspect the bunker." Yeah, and there's an active riot going on in your city. Cars are lit on fire, buildings are lit on fire, and you're just like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna go inspect the bunker. Just check it out." You know,
Missed the
what
spot
a
over there. It's
coward.
not dirty. It's
I mean, he's
dirty over
an
there.
absolute coward. But you know, Zelensky, you know, he's a real one. You know,
Oh,
he's like,
dude,
listen, I've been duped. The West has betrayed me, but I'm gonna go down with my people. You know,
that's
just
fucking crazy, man. I mean, that's pretty hardcore, and I gotta condemn them for that because it's like, you know, you're standing 10 toes down, and you're gonna go out like that. You're gonna go out in battle. So, yeah, man, it's
do
insane.
you?
I've been seeing him like be with the soldiers out there on the streets, like
Yeah.
talking, you know, to the people that are bringing the news, latest and greatest news over there, with what's going on, and it's just crazy. It's like, damn, dude, this dude's
If
really gonna, you know,
if
stay
the White
posted like
House
that.
was ever surrounded, could you ever see Biden, picking
There's
up a
no
gun
way.
and
There's
telling
no
people, I'm
way.
going down with this? Nope. Could you
He'd be
see
fucking
Trump?
out of that bitch like immediately. He would
Could you
fucking be
see
running.
Trump standing down with the ship, going down with the ship?
Uh, I mean, with you saying with what you said, I didn't know that. I didn't know he went down to the bunker during the BLM
No.
riots and all that. So
And
I don't know. Probably not. I mean, that right there, it says that. I don't think he
hell
would.
no. No, he talks a good game, but he's
Yeah.
not as tough as he says he is, right?
Yeah.
He when it came to Vietnam, him and Bill Clinton fled. Bill Clinton fled Canada. He went to Canada to
Oh
hide
shit.
because he was dodging the draft. But then um, Trump was saying, "Oh, I can't go do it because I've got bone spurs." You know,
What the fuck?
yeah, I can't march, can't do all that stuff. So, you know, Trump is not the patriot that people, you know, want on the right want to say that he is. He's not a savior.
Yeah.
You know, there were things that he did that I did agree with. I love that he didn't get us in any new wars, and
Mm-hmm.
I love that he kept Putin in check. You know, everybody said that he was Putin's ally, Putin's friend, da 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 da. Well, I think we now know that that was not the truth, and so there were some things he did, but he, you know, at the end of the day, White House is surrounded. He's scatting. You
Yeah.
know, he's
Skirting.
gonna run wherever he can.
Yeah, man. It's
And you know, same with Obama, George Bush. I mean, I can't think of anyone. Maybe one of the maybe Kennedy, JFK. I think
I feel
maybe
like he would
he had some
stand
guts
down.
when he was facing Russia back then, Cold
Yeah.
War, and he was making some tough decisions.
Yeah,
You
I would
know,
say he out of anybody I could think of right off rip, it would be him, JF.
probably.
So, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it's insane. I do want to ask you about one statement Putin made about in 2000. I don't know when. What? No, 1994, I believe he was saying. I don't know when Bill Clinton was still. He was on his last term, and he was saying that he asked Bill Clinton about joining NATO, and I guess Bill Clinton gave him kind of like a remark, like he wouldn't want to see, or he couldn't like fathom the idea of having Russia and NATO. And he said after that, that's when he knew that he had beef with the U.S. from there on, or something like that. I don't know if you heard a statement, something like that, like he was talking about, but
Not that specifically, but I do know that Russia has been, it's very wise not to let Russia involved because um, you know, for instance, you know, and really, I mean, it's a shit show that America has abused its powers in NATO. They really have. And that I think they were afraid of maybe two big parties, two big countries, both
mm,
abusing the powers.
okay, so you're saying okay,
So, but yeah, it's just it they didn't they were afraid that, you know, if Russia got themselves in other wars by treaty, that NATO members are obligated
to
to
join.
send their soldiers
Okay, I see what
into
you're saying.
those wars, and they
Makes
were just
sense.
like, we do not trust that guy, you know, any of those Russians
Yeah.
as far as we can throw them. And so no, they should not be a part of NATO. Ukraine themselves should not be a part of NATO. I'm sorry. I'm you know, I'm going to be completely transparent. The reason I have Zelensky's picture is just because of his courage and his bravery. But he was doing the dirty laundry of America. If he really wanted to be a part of NATO, the country of Ukraine, it's not just Zelensky, it's his predecessors as well. They always did the dirty work for the other countries because they basically were treated like a whore. Where, hey, you do all this, you do all this, you do all this, and then maybe we'll talk about, you know, that was the big carrot they were waving in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
NATO. And so they were like, yeah, we'll do anything we can to be a part of NATO, you know, because we are deathly afraid of a Russian invasion. We really think they want to invade. So that was the trick that the West, Germany, and everybody played on Ukraine.
Yeah, I think at this point, man, we need a hard reset. We need to really take all those people out
Don't
with
say great reset though.
Oh, oops. No, wait. Don't come. You're gonna see fucking SWAT team come in. Take them down. Take them down. Oh shit. No, no. But I do definitely think like this should be a restart of just with the corruptness from within. Put some new people in there, just fresh perspectives. Like it's this thing goes so deep because this has been happening, like you said, before we were even born. Like just shit that's been freaking just so manipulated for like power, greed. For our benefit. For when I say we, it's like the government for its benefit. And just screwing over other countries. And it's like, dude, if we're going to be in an alliance, we should be transparent and clear with one another to where, we're all on the same picture where we want world peace at that point. But if it's this whole thing where we use certain countries for our advantage, for certain advantages and all that, and just screwing over other people, how the fuck is it going to work like that? I just don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. But again, what do I know? I'm just half of the podcast,
you
baby.
said reset. And so, Klaus Schwab, World Economic Forum, so a lot of people are saying that these wars are playing a part of that because Putin was a part of the World Economic Forum, the young leaders they call them, and just like Justin Trudeau was, and half of his cabinet in Canada, and they have leaders all over the world that were part of this Klaus Schwab Great Reset move, and I think John Kerry is a part of that thing. Bill Gates is a part of this thing, but basically their whole message is you will own nothing and you'll be happy. So they're trying to eradicate capitalism all over the world. They're trying to basically build a system that all of us are on a level playing field. So no matter where you live, nobody has too much abundance. Nobody's goes without. We're all on an equal playing field, and that this one world government essentially will tell us, what we can and can't have. So there's going to be carbon credits in there. So anytime you want to drive your car, you have to pay certain credits to use it. Our homes will not be our own homes. Nobody will own a car. Nobody will own a home. Nobody will own, like literally, like this computer, that is in front of me, this microphone. We wouldn't own any of this stuff. It would, if we wanted to use it, we could rent it, and then we'd have to give it back. It's the communities. So it's basically worldwide communism.
That's fucking crazy. I ain't with that. I mean, I'm sorry, but fuck all that. but yeah, it's crazy. I didn't know that. I didn't know that,
man.
That's crazy. That's a nice little gem you dropped there. That's crazy. I didn't fucking know about that. Huh? That's wild.
Yeah, so that's the goal, and they're saying that like they're using, like, okay, so with this COVID thing, pandemic, so somebody, I think one of the New York Times or somebody reported that Moderna had the same exact DNA sequence of the coronavirus 3 years ago, 3 years prior to the pandemic. And they were like, holy shit, is this thing created? Like, it's just proving, I mean, people have been knowing that it's created, right? But now we have evidence that's pointing to the fact that not only was it created, but Moderna already was working
ahead of the game.
These vaccines, remember what we said, normally vaccines take 5 to 10 years.
5 to 10 years, yeah.
Well, shoot, if they already had this thing 3 years, that means they were working on it 3 years prior to the pandemic. And then 2 years after it started was when the vaccine came out. There's your 5 years right there.
Coincidence? I think not. No, that's crazy. No, that is pretty, that's interesting.
So
it's like coincidental. I don't know.
And that's the thing, is you put all these things together. Does it turn into a worldwide conspiracy by the elite and the globalists to get us all to go, basically herd us like cattle into the slaughterhouse where we will own nothing and we'll be happy? Yeah. Great reset, baby.
It's fucking insane. I mean, we're talking about fucking putting our tinfoil hats on. That was a perfect little segment. I should have said that before that, but damn, we definitely went down a little rabbit hole on that one. But yeah, man, I felt it was right to touch on this because obviously it's sad, it's unfortunate. Obviously, again, for the Indian civilians that are caught up on both ends, even just with in Russia, probably people don't want this to go down, and obviously in Ukraine, with people getting caught up with everything that's happening, and just hoping that everybody makes it out safely. That's trying to get away from all with what's going on over there. But definitely, again, it's just coming from us that obviously we want peace for every country. We don't want. I mean, obviously that's not our fucking game. We always say we love you guys, everybody that's listening to the podcast, and we truly mean that. And it's just it sucks, man. It sucks because it kind of like almost rains on a little parade, but it's almost one of those things to where we definitely have to touch on it and just talk about kind of like from our perspectives, kind of how we look at the situation, so
and
just so people know.
Shout out to the Russians, to the Russian people who have been protesting this
For
war.
sure. Shout out to them.
They are putting themselves out on the front line, and the police are being absolutely brutal with these people. But they're showing up in numbers, tens of thousands of people, and because they themselves know that this is wrong. And this is that's the difference between when Hitler took over in 1939. There, you didn't see the German resistance. The German people just sort of went with it. They didn't protest it. They just let it happen because, oh, this guy's probably right and he's our leader, so we're just going to follow him blindly. And that left a huge stain on the country of Germany to this day. I mean, but those people in Russia, they do not want to see a repeat of 1939. So shout out to those people, to those
sure.
the people of Russia. We admire the shit out of all of those people that are standing up about things that are bigger than you.
Yeah.
The same is going to go for China when they start to invade Taiwan. I mean, that's almost certainly going to happen now. And I think I read a report that they are doing military tests very similarly to what Putin said he was doing in Ukraine, or above Ukraine, in Belarus, and on the Russian border, they said, oh, we're just doing test drills, we're just doing military drills, no big deal, nothing to see here. Well, China has just announced that they're doing test drills in the South China Sea. So stay tuned. We might be talking about another invasion shortly. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
that's one thing I was going to ask you. I think a little bit before, with this happening. I mean, obviously, there's been talks about China invading not Ukraine, China invading Taiwan. Do you? I mean, you pretty much answered it right there at the end. It's. I think I could see that happening very soon, especially just because they know they got each other's backing, and maybe they have a deal where, like, hey, if U.S. or anybody else gets involved, we'll back you up. And, if shit really goes deep, then we'll be there to support you. And I think it's vice versa. Russia, if China gets any pushback from invading Taiwan, they're going to get Russia's backing on that as well. And, I mean, they got some deals, man. I mean, I bet you they got, they got a secret handshake underneath the table. So, it's insane, man. Yeah. I mean, that could possibly happen.
One thing I love about living in this area, Seattle, is that it is a melting pot of people. And so this week in particular, ever since Russia invaded, I've been able to talk to a lot of Ukrainian people that I work with, a lot of first generation Ukrainians, and I ask them, every single one answers the same thing: I've got family at home. And it's just been very hard to watch because their loved ones, their soil, but and then also I know someone who moved over here from Taiwan, and I've asked her plenty of questions about China, but she's always real careful to ask or answer questions about China. It's almost like they don't want to talk about it. It's like,
okay,
let's just let that be with me and my people.
Yeah.
But one story, just we can go on to something else different. Just Ukraine.
For sure.
We are with you. The
Definitely.
people of Ukraine, we are with you 100%. This is insane that we are here, but we are not blind Americans. I am not a blind American. I am not afraid to call out our feckless leadership, our backstabbing leadership. They did you completely wrong. It is America played a huge role in this happening. Joe Biden played a huge role in this happening, and that is what makes me a patriot of this country, because this is not what our country stands for, and I can stand up against this feckless leadership that we have, because it's killing people. It's
Yeah.
killing innocent people. But
No bueno.
one last story is, it was the most courageous story. This Ukrainian woman approaches this Russian soldier.
I think I saw that. Yeah.
She said, "What the fuck are you doing here? You know, are you a Russian soldier? Then what the fuck are you doing on my land?" And she said, you know, you're better off just to leave. And if you don't, we will kill you. And you might as well just carry sunflowers in your pocket, so that
They can grow
sunflowers
it.
can raise where you died.
That's
And
crazy.
and she said that to his face, you know, and I'm just like, wow, what a courageous woman.
That's bravery, man.
The sunflower, for people that don't know, that's the Ukrainian national flower. So
Damn, yeah, I did see the video on that. That was, I'm like, damn, that's ballsy, but I respect that chick, man. Damn, that's crazy. And there's also, I don't know if this is true. I don't know. I don't know if you've seen this one, but there was like a small island, kind of like by Ukraine, right, where there was like 15 soldiers.
yes,
And this fighter jet,
Snake
a Russian
Island.
fighter jet, was
No, it was
Snake
a boat.
Island.
I think it was a boat.
Was it a boat? Was it a boat? Okay, so they
a
were
boat.
pretty much telling anybody to put their weapons down. This is the Russian army, and they pretty much said "fuck you" and "fuck off" or something like that, right? And then
They
little
said, yeah, because the Ukrainian, I was watching the video that translated to English. He's like, you know, yeah, you're right. They said, you know, lay down your weapons, lay down your arms. And then so the Ukrainian soldier talking to the other one, he's like, should I tell him to fuck off? And then they agreed, and he goes, you can fuck yourself. You can fuck yourselves. And
Man.
that was their stance. But that is what I'm talking about. Bravery and courage. That's missing from so many people. Who would do that? That is love of their land, love of their country, love of their people. So yeah, you don't see that over here as much.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, we've got our brothers and sisters in the military, in arms, and we, you know, for those that are brave, I know that a lot of them would do the same thing. But I'm just
sure.
talking about the normal, you know, the people they put on the news. They don't put military on the news. They put all these stupid parades and stupid protests and stupid, you know, those are people that don't give two shits about this country. They don't. They're,
Yeah.
you know,
I mean, I think it takes, like I said, it takes for something catastrophic to happen. And I mean, you're going to see something real quick, you know, change at that point. But I mean, let's just hope it doesn't lead to that. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't want to see anything like that happening. But I mean, at this point, man, anything goes. You know, it's kind of like out of our fucking reach at that point from us. So it's like, just got to get up every day like we do our thing, be there for our families, loved ones, all that, and just keep it pushing from there. But like, you know, definitely for everybody that's out there caught up in that mess, man, you know, we're hoping for the best for you, and it's just it's just sad to talk about, honestly, to be honest. But I only felt right that we definitely had to touch this subject on the Tudukchi podcast because, like I said, we're trying to be transparent with everybody that, you know, obviously we think different from aside from what the government thinks. That's them. That's not us.
Yeah.
That's them. So
yeah.
hey man.
Defund the IRS while you're at it.
Oh yeah, dude. You're gonna have to make that a shirt. Defund. I think there is a shirt.
There is a
I've
shirt,
seen
yeah.
someone wear that the other day. Actually, I was like, I thought about it. I was like, well, that's the name my boy wrote right there.
I
Defund
think
the
the
IRS.
Instagram page I saw it on was Shithead Steve.
That's where I saw it too. But I actually saw somebody wear it. Like I forgot where we were at. We were somewhere and
Yeah, we
it
can
said
make our
Defund the
own.
IRS.
We can make our own cheaper. Fuck Shithead Steve.
That'll be dope, dude. That'll be definitely the fucking one to fucking rock for sure. Tip touch only, baby. But yeah,
Yeah.
bro. Dude, I took majority of the time, I think, and I mean, but by all means, it was good to talk about that. But I obviously, just to change the subject into a different topic, obviously, I actually, you know, I was talking about this new documentary that's out about Kanye West, Ye. That's what he goes by now. But I mean, one thing, dude, for
Is
me,
it Yee or Yay? I thought
it's
it was Yay.
Ye or Yay. I think it is Yay. You're right. Fuck. Yeah. So you're there to correct me. Yeah. I think it is Yay. Yay or Ye?
It's Yay.
Okay. Yay. We'll go with that. Correct. Sorry,
Okay.
Kanye. Sorry.
Yeah.
But no, man. One thing I do respect about just anybody's story, obviously to success, is not only the fact that they get it to a certain high level in their career to where everybody knows them, but for me, it's more the journey there, getting there, right? From the beginnings, the humble beginnings, up until their highest point, or even they can go further from that. But dude, I'm telling you, man, if anybody hasn't checked this out, definitely go do so and just watch it strictly from a perspective of what somebody went through, by all means, against all odds, to get to the certain point or to get their big break. And I can tell you, man, the more and more that, I mean, the second episode came out, I think, a couple of days ago. It's Act 2, and then I forgot the name of it, but there's only 2 episodes out. And one thing that I found really interesting, though, right, was, we can say that he was a producer for Rockefeller. For anybody that doesn't know, he started as a producer from Rockefeller, but he was a producer in general, making beats for like $50 to $100 for local artists around Chicago. And that was his way of getting some money, some quick money, making, $50, $100 beats from Kanye at that point. I mean, nobody knew what he was going to be at, years down the road. But one thing I didn't know, though, is that once he signed to Rockefeller Records, they weren't really trying to treat him like as a rapper, because they really knew him for his beats. But he himself always believed himself like, I'm more than just a producer. He's like, that's cool, I can do that, but I'm a rapper. And he proved himself time and time and time again. And the one thing that stood out to me from the first episode was the fact that it's just so mind blowing for me to think that they were pushing this dude like to the side, like, we didn't have time for you. That's cool that you can rap, but it's not really what we're looking for. Because at that time, Jay-Z was huge at that point. A bunch of other rappers, DMX, Ja Rule. I mean, there was just big names coming out from the East Coast at that time, right? And he had just a different style and a different flow, different, production wise, different. It's just so different that they really didn't see it being something that was going to be a big radio play, I guess you could say. Right. And for even the people at Rockefeller at that time to just really not give him the time or day to really kind of hear him out and listen to his stuff, because you have to think about it. This dude made his own beats and he rapped over them. Like, there's not really a lot of people aside from Dr. Dre, but I'm sorry, Dre. I mean, you really didn't write raps for most of them, but I give you credit. By all means, you're a legend. Yeah,
you made him sound really good.
Yes, yeah. Jay-Z wrote some of his stuff, and obviously the DOC, all that. For people who don't know, I mean, go do your Googles, right?
Tupac, I'm sure, too.
Oh, for sure. So for me to say, like, Kanye pretty much did both, rapped and made his beats, that's like a fucking combo right there. That's just like the creme de la crop in my eyes, right? But the fact that they were like not giving this dude a chance to be like, let's see what he can bring to the table. Everybody deserves a shot at this point. He was a producer for Rockefeller. They knew who he was. It's not like he was a regular stranger. But dude, after he signed, and then, he's got the chain on, the Rockefeller chain and all that. He's part of the group, he's part of the La Familia and all that. They were just trying to keep him contained where, no, you're just a producer. You stick to what you're doing. Cool. And he took matters into his own hands. And it's something like you can put kind of reference that to now, like where a lot of people say, fuck it, I'm gonna do it on my own. Kind of like with us, with the podcast, right? We did it on our own. We did our research to really figure out what we need, equipment wise, editing and all that stuff. So it's kind of like, okay, damn, that's cool. And what's even more striking, did you know that he made his own video and took that $33,000 out of the pocket to make the video for Through the Wire?
I did not know that.
That's fucking, he said he did it on his own. And luckily enough, the guy that was shooting all those scenes, Cootie, he used all the videos, like all the stuff, because he had him film everywhere he went, from his studio sessions and all that. All those little pieces, chopped it up, and he said, from out of my pocket, $33,000, I'm gonna give you my first music video to Through the Wire. And obviously, Through the Wire is that iconic song. I mean, that's one of the hit singles that he released, right? And people don't know, living under a bubble, or living in a bubble, I should say. He actually rapped with his fucking mouth wired shut, so he was like talking like this. He's talking like this, and he made that song.
Hence the title.
Through the Wire. But what's even crazy, in that second episode, he was actually supposed to get surgery, right? And they were like, he was trying to get it out for him to rap, because he said at that point, like, I'm signed to Rockefeller, I need to push this album out. He's in grind mode. but he was in LA because he had an accident in LA, which obviously caused him to break his jaw multiple places, whatever. And you know, the doctor told him like, I'm not gonna just take out the wires out, dude. Your jaw's like broken, you know, and we need to let it to heal so we can get surgery and then it can heal from that. And lo and behold, he's like, fuck it, I can't wait. You know, I'm in position right now to do something that could put me on a pedestal and just take me higher. And lo and behold, he did that. But what's even more fascinating to me, he actually showed that track to Pharrell Williams, obviously NERD, right? Pharrell Williams, everyone knows who that is, right? And play that song for him, and his reaction when he told him like, yeah, he's like, dude, I did that song with my wired mouth shut. Like I did that while, you know, I was trying to recover from my accident. And his like seeing that reaction to know like, dude, this guy is talented. This is talent right here. And this song, what I'm hearing is just something that I haven't heard at that time, right? Like everything was just so different. And just the way he would dress and just the way he would come out in the sense of just like as a rapper, it was completely like opposite of what was going on during that time. But the message that I got from all that though was like, you kind of need to do your own thing and stand out and not follow the crowd at that point. Like he was just trying to be his own person. Bless you. And thanks. You know, that's the one thing that I was like, I gave him more respect because the little things, the little details, like him putting the money out, like putting money out of his own pocket to do his own music video, him just saying he's not gonna wait for an advance from Rockefeller Records to do it. Like he was using like studio time, like leftover studio time from like sessions that he was having with other rappers to complete his music video, or not his music video, his music, and put that the College Dropout out and everything. So I think once that dropped out and once they put Through the Wire on the radio station, that's where everything changed. And that was like literally the official start from there till now. And I'm like, dude, this documentary is like fucking good, dude. You guys need to check that out. Just go with a clear mind. Like just don't think about it. Oh, Kanye West. No, it's just like from the beginning to where you got your one shot and you utilize everything. You take every little opportunity to fucking make something out of nothing.
Kanye West is another victim of mainstream media. You know, he went against the mass, you know, opinions, and he's like, you're wrong. You know, I'm gonna do it my way. Most famously is that he was voting for Trump, and as soon as he did that, that was like the cardinal sin of anybody in Hollywood. So. They wrote him off, and since then they've tried to trash his name. They've tried to trash his mental illness. They've tried to do anything they could to kill him from the industry. And he's too great. You know, it's like trying to trash Jordan. You know, and he's just you know, he's playing Jumpman on you. Yeah. You know, and like you know, it reminded me when you were saying about him rapping. Dude, I was alive, duh, but I was very engaged, like because I knew I was never a big fan of Jay-Z. I just, you know, it's the whole Tupac beef, the whole thing that kind of stuck with me.
You're right, more Pac. He
was making some hot stuff, and so, you know, I'd cop his albums. But when Kanye, the College Dropout, I paid full attention to him. Full attention. I loved, in fact, that's probably the only album that I really genuinely loved. All his other stuff, he just got way too big, way too popular, and he, you know, that's what he talked about. But College Dropout, he was talking about real issues, real, and I'm like, wow, this is a masterpiece. That's like a Mona Lisa, and of an album. And so anyway, when he was rapping through, you know, with his jaw wired shut, I remember that because I was like, holy shit, he did that. And it reminded me of when Jordan was playing Utah Jazz. The Bulls were playing Utah Jazz, and Jordan had the flu.
Yeah, and straight up.
He just plowed through it. He's just like, you know what? I can't let this medical stuff hold me back. I've got a job to do, and that's what separates the great. That, like, I mean, there's a lot of great people. I'm talking top, the apex, very top, tippy top of the greats. Yeah. Right. You can be great, but you're not tippy top great, like Jordan, like Muhammad Ali. And like in that instance, Kanye West, what he had, you know, 9.9 rappers out of 10 would not have done what he did.
Dude. Yeah.
He did it. He plowed through it. And what I loved about him, the more I read about him, he never sold drugs. He never, like, he literally took it. He was a good person. He was always a good soul. He didn't wish harm on anybody. And he legitimately grew from his talents. He fell in love with the culture and with everything about hip hop and with the beats and with the words, and he understood that words had meaning, and he wasn't just mumbling his way through it. He wasn't
Yeah.
just quickly doing it, and he was working with everybody. He treated it like a business, and he was so professional. He was so good, and that's why I loved that he never felt like he had to ruin people's lives by selling drugs just to throw that in a rap, that he did it, you know.
Yeah,
I
straight
I
up.
so admire him for walking that walk.
The one two scene in from that documentary was the first episode where Scarface went in the studio with him and he played him Jesus Walks, right?
Yeah.
And he was trying to pin down like a verse.
Yeah.
And then we see Scarface leave and he never came back. I'm like,
He
yo,
was
what
done.
the fuck? He's like,
Yeah.
I can do this. Because like I said, it was something different. I think to him, kind of what I got from that scene was like, it was something different that we're like, only Kanye could do what Kanye did on that song. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So for him, it's like, this is not something that, Scarface probably thought like this is not something that, clearly is out there right now at that time, right? And he just probably couldn't really jive with what was going on and kind of like on the level that he was at that time,
He was so
but
ahead of his time. That's
yeah,
the
dude.
problem. Scarface was one of the old school cats, you
Oh
know.
yeah, super,
I mean,
yeah.
and you've listened to his old stuff. I mean, he's
Yeah.
just like basically, but I loved the last album I ever listened to him was Untouchable. It was a great album. Great
Yeah,
album.
Untouchable. I think that's the one I listened to too. Yeah.
But he's got his own flow,
Mhm.
and I just, he did get, Kanye did do a track for him, My Block.
My blog, yeah.
But yeah, that Jesus Walks was way too advanced for Brad Johnson, for Scarface. He just couldn't hack it. He
He's
just
like,
he was
whoa.
done. Yeah, like, can you give me some hood shit?
You know, right? I didn't
talk
take it
about
back to
some
the
hood
hood.
shit.
Give me some of those slappers, dude. Yeah, but
Yeah.
no, man. I just the more I watch that, it really gives me a different perspective on him as just a person grinding to him becoming, reaching those goals and just going even further, saying fuck it, like, he said something in that caught my attention where it's like, it might be your dream, but it's not my dream. It's like, I got bigger goals or something like that. And I'm like, dude, that's just him. Like, he was just always been that like go-getter where he's just fucking thinking about fucking years in advance, dude. So,
Yeah.
to where he's at now, I mean, dude, everybody's really, anytime anything he drops, whether it's like clothes, music or whatever, all eyes on him at that point when he drops anything, so it's like he's got a fucking cult like following, and I mean he's still putting numbers out there, and he's still, he can make some sick ass beats, and that's one thing too that you have to think about, like his beats too are just fucking, they're just A1 all the time, and majority of them are fucking good. So it's tough to really decipher those from just who can clearly rappers that can rap, aside from people like rappers that can rap but make fucking sick beats. So yeah, man, it's fucking, it's awesome though. So I definitely recommend this for people that are into the rap hip hop game, just music in general. I want to see that. Definitely go check it out. It's fucking awesome. It's called Genius. Genius, something like that.
I need to watch the second one. I didn't know it was out yet.
Yeah, it's already out. Yeah, so it's good, bro. It's really good. It's like you, and the more I looked at it too, was like you kind of see the real relationship he had with his mom, and I kind of tie that in with now, like I think it was definitely a huge devastating blow to him where his mom was really like one of his best friends, and obviously his mom at the end of the day, but really supportive of him, like really knew that her son was going to be something special, and he has a lot of talent, and all the time he invested in it, just like from a young age, where he's definitely going to go places. I know he is, and he's going to work hard at it. I know he's going to achieve it, and and she was there to witness that, and I think you really can't take that from him, and it's just sad to see that obviously she's probably she's not here anymore, obviously. And I'm sure it's something that's always going to be kind of like the needle in his back, type deal, so
not to compare him to Jordan again, but that happened to Jordan too. Jordan
his
lost
dad, right?
his father.
Yeah, man.
His father got to see his success, and then all of a sudden gone out of the picture.
Yeah, bro.
He was murdered.
Yeah.
And and it's just, it's like you do that, and everybody takes tragedy different, and obviously Kanye took it in his own way, but it didn't stop him from being successful. It just, yeah, I don't know what happened to him, but the world was so unkind to Kanye,
Yeah,
in that they were just so unkind to him, and still are. It's insane, and it's unreal, but they treated the Jordan treatment was totally different. They understood, they were more compassionate with him. But isn't that amazing? They were both out of
that's true, man.
Chicago there.
You said two good things, man. I didn't really look that. It's like, man, you're connecting the dots here. It's like, fuck, how did I look past that? So damn, dude, you're good with that. You're good with that. But yeah, brother. I mean, overall, that's pretty much kind of what we had on the table to talk about today. I know we definitely took a different approach, but I feel like it was only right to do so. And just before we finished off this podcast, definitely, for the people in Ukraine and in Russia that obviously do not want a part of any of this, we're definitely in our thoughts and prayers. It's unfortunate all this has to happen, but just know that, Tip Tips Podcast loves you. And we just want peace. I mean, that's just what I want. Fuck all the beef shit, fuck all that. So, yeah, man, that's pretty much on my end, kind of what I have to say to that.
And let's start voting these leaders out. That's these people out. There is a way to turn this world back into our world, and
For sure.
take it away from these globalist leaders, these crooked, dishonest, evil people that are running this world right now. And we can do this. We can do this.
Definitely for the people and by the people, man. Just simply said,
Yeah.
But with that,
and we'll all wear FUBU.
oh yeah, definitely, man, definitely. But with that being said, obviously, go catch us on all major streaming platforms. But make it easy for yourself. Follow us at the Tip Tips Podcast on Instagram, where we provide a direct link in our bio that will take you everywhere where we're available. And also keep up to date with all the latest clips from our upcoming episodes. Just various posts that we post up, and just keep up to date with yours truly here. So have a good weekend. Have a good Friday. Take care. We love you. And just we'll catch you on the next one. Deuce.
Woo.